Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are still on our Runaways. Let's go get her done. Watch this full series as it was released in a big bang streak. Put that all in hyphens. Yes, we are now on episode 5, which we're halfway now. And the last episode, we had, I think the biggest development being that Nico has embraced the fact that the staff and her are actually one and the same. She thought the staff was the source of all of her power, but as I said, I think a couple of reactions ago, like, she doesn't really need the staff. I think it's something that helps her channel it, but the power is actually within Nico. And she discovered that with the help of Miss Morgan, the last episode, by pulling the staff out of her chest, which is a comic book reference. A lot of people kind of know the Nico character, and she sent the royal family somewhere. She said they weren't killed, and I think she said that with a little uncertainty in her voice because she's still, well, actually it's not true. She did see that the dude from last season, she saw that, you know, in that weird space that her and Morgan always meet in, that he's still alive. So I think that's what she's assuming, that she sent everybody else, but she really doesn't know. She still doesn't fully understand who Morgan is. We haven't actually heard the name Morgan. I'm only saying this because thanks to you guys, I know who she is. And she still has no idea why this woman is helping her. So that's a little bit worrisome, obviously, because they should know by now that just trusting people is never a great idea. But I get why it happened. They were put into a corner and Nico had to do something. Otherwise, the royal family was going to kill them all. So without further ado, let's get into this episode and we'll chat about it afterwards as usual. Okay, let's go.
We drove, right? Not that I remember, but that makes sense.
Oh my God, did she send them into the dream world? Oh, the magician. Yeah, they did reference him last episode, which seems strange.
Delighted to see you. That horrid music.
She run up on me like that.
Wait,
I have strength.
something doesn't feel right. Molly, your eyes.
Are lovely.
Thank you.
Because we don't have powers here. Powers? Which powers are you referring to?
Dude, why are you in this conversation?
If you take one step outside the protection of my home, you'll regret it.
Everyone needs to run away like that for the rest of the series. Nope, I've decided.
Well, yes. Ditzy redheaded dame, an oriental, a lunatic, and a bespectacled Negro child.
Dude, you cannot talk like that.
Fence it for sure, but he definitely saw them.
Wow.
The longer you remain here, the more you shall forget from whence you came, and soon this world will be all you know.
I think we'd like to take the magic show now.
Okay, Nico. Finally you come.
Excuse you?
Grandmother?
What is happening? Why are they all dressed like geishas?
That looks like my dad's car.
So are they in each of their parents' personal hell? It must be.
Is something wrong, sweetheart?
Well, other than the fact that y'all are dead, Molly ain't leaving. What? Well, I shouldn't be surprised that Gertz looks creepy as hell. See? If you're not optimistic in life, this is what happens when you go to your own personal purgatory. Oh, it's your parents' basement. Okay.
No, I don't remember any of this. There might be a reason for that. Sorry, sweetie.
Oh, okay.
Wait, we're going to church after dinner? No, not that church. We're going to the Church of Kuborm. We're Gibbs?
I'm good.
What kind of charity work? Please.
Where we sell children.
Come at me, bro.
My pleasure.
But where's Victor? Where's he going? $50 says you'll go back there and like it'll be happening again.
Where is it now? I'm not sure. I can't remember what happened to it after I cast the spell that brought us here.
Wait, they're all witches? Whoa! Nope, they're demons. Cut, let's go. Ah! No.
Personal boundaries?
No.
When you say back inside you, what exactly do you mean? The staff. Why are you doing this? I'm your granddaughter. You're my ticket out of here. Now hold.
Oh. Her mom?
Sisters.
Okay, this is baller. Okay. I'm down for this battle. Woo! right back at you. Damn, she just done killed your grandparents. So I'm your mama. Oh.
Cousin, your sister.
No!
Amy?
Oh, come on, Amy. Give her a little pat. Thank you. Nico needs this. Oh, girl, you got all kind of shadow meld and stuff. Power it up. There we go. Let's get this full circle of violence going.
We take her to medical and then to Leslie. See?
Remember what your parents used to do there, sweetie. This is awful. This is stuff that Molly's probably locked away subconsciously for so long. Really hope you didn't have the lemonade or the bagels.
Oh, it's just lunch, honey. Your favorite.
Only for special occasions.
Literal Kool-Aid. Well, some great glass. Self-repairing. When can a girl pick that up? It's gonna be finding Amy dead.
This is the day that you died.
Awkward. This is good though. I think Nico needs to see that her mom is not a completely evil person. Like 90%, but not 100.
That's where we are. This is called the dark dimension.
Oh!
I can see why.
Information that should have been shared earlier. Did you just stab me?
How old was I when this happened? I don't know exactly, maybe 12 or 13. Right when my anxiety started. That's your father's side.
Got it. Her brain was trying to figure out what happened.
Who? The darkness. She comes every night and takes one of us. It's how she feeds.
And wears you as coats? Is that what happens? It is Nico.
Beautiful Carolina. So real. So real.
So did her grandmothers get to this version?
Joe, please.
Hey,
What's wrong?
just because she hasn't brushed in a while.
Kiss me.
Just a little brush, you know, a little tic-tac. Excel.
I was just surprised to see you here, that's all.
With, you know, half your hair missing and some
But I'm
jagged-ass teeth. And seriously, what kind of nail care are we dealing with here? What is that?
We don't have to carry him around
confused.
anymore.
Oh,
That
Jonah.
was my problem to solve, and I failed.
Oh, I get the symbolism now. Never mind.
Please, Lord! You said no matter what!
Damn. We went from having a dream wedding to commitment issues. For real? She's like, I just need to check your teeth, please, and the nails. Okay. Oh, this is awkward. Longest fake car ride ever. Stacy. Need to take a page out of your husband's book and just admit you was wrong.
Find a way to come back. For now, come on, we gotta go.
Of course, let's leave Alex again.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I really wish that creepy magician was still here. He's got to be here somewhere.
Does he? Because all the guests left.
Hey. Hello? Anybody here?
What if he left?
He said he never leaves.
No, he did. Because he's gone.
I'm sorry, everyone. This is all on me. Okay, you're my friends. And I brought you into something terrible. Oh, it makes you feel any better. We can't be mad at you. Because we don't remember that you did it. I don't have that spell. I mean, no one does.
That's not entirely true. But I haven't done anything like it in a very long time. I'm going to need your help.
Mama, we need to have a long-ass talk when this is over.
You're going to have to trust me.
Okay, Tina. I feel like, did you just throw up a staff? Man, what have you been hiding? Ew. Okay, let's just all stare and wonder. Sure. This is Morgan's World. Can y'all please hurry it up? Let's go. Let's go. Left, right. Up two. Up two. Bye, Amy. Love you. Plot until the end. I mean, in this case, I'm actually all for her plotting. So go. Let's go. Bye. Can't believe y'all leaving Alex again, though. Friends who? Morgan. Oh. What an interesting twist. Oh, God. Did they just move into another dimension?
We've been gone for 6 months.
So, does that mean that Alex has been trapped over there for the same amount of time?
Damn. Poor Alex. Who's got you? Oh. Yeah, you got enemies. And the worst part is, you know, Alex didn't even, I mean, it wasn't even Alex's fault, really, with that whole situation. You know, it's just, oh, poor Alex. All right, guys, that was episode 5, which was called Enter Dreamland. Interesting episode. I feel like, I guess it was a good way for us to get some character closure around a couple of things, because honestly, this episode, considering the fact that nothing really happened, it wasn't really a plot moving one. I'm not mad at it, just in the sense of this is still very much a character driven show, and we've had a couple of characters, particularly with Tina. I said in a couple of reviews ago that Tina and Catherine were the two, like, they were the hardest out of this whole Pride group as far as just being ruthless and doing whatever was necessary. We hadn't really seen a lot of softness or remorse or anything of that nature from either of them, so it kind of made it hard to empathize with them, and hence why their children were so vehemently against doing anything to save them. In this one, if we talk about Nico's storyline, which we actually got a lot of information about, which I'll get to in a minute, Nico very much has kind of seen her mom as this cold, distant, judgmental woman, even before the death of her sister. So I think for her to finally see her mother's nightmare, which was that obviously this has plagued her. We saw that last season when we saw the truth of how Amy died. This has been something that's been haunting Tina forever, right? Losing a child is just an unimaginable, horrible thing to happen to you, and any parent would be absolutely devastated by it, and Tina's no different. She, of course, as we've seen, is not a really emotional person, and that's not a fault per se. It's just some of us express our emotions through our grief through crying or things like that. Others just have to deal with it in a different way. And Tina was one of those people. And I think, you know, that's kind of why her and Robert, I think, always kind of worked before all the Pride craziness, is that Robert is obviously the softer, more emotionally expressive person, whereas Tina's a little bit more held back and withdrawn with that sort of thing, and a little bit more the taskmaster of the relationship. But anyway, I think Nico really needed to see that her mom was human, you know, that her mom really was grieving still over this thing, and that she is just as torn up and just like just like Nico would do anything to bring Amy back if she could. And so I think Nico seeing that vulnerability in her mom, seeing that her mom was feeling the same way that she did, it kind of took away some of that vitriol that Nico's been holding towards her all this time. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that all is forgiven or that she's forgiven or forgotten everything her mother has done, but that level of human connection was absolutely needed between the two of them, because that's still her mom. Nico will need that, because even if it turns out that Tina doesn't make it out of this season, it's still something that for herself, Nico would need to resolve that and be able to know that even if her mom wasn't perfect, she wasn't a totally awful person. And then we go on to Molly, on the other hand, has been kind of putting her parents up on a pedestal. She's been kind of putting them in a martyr status because they were murdered. And that's understandable, because her parents were the only ones who actually made the tape about everything and were actually attempting to leave Pride sooner than the rest. But Molly did have to come to the realization that her parents did willingly enter Pride. You know, they did take they took the initial bait, Because as we saw in season 1, was it, I think, where they explained how Jonah kind of ended up trapping them into having to stay with him, but they were all initially enticed by their greed. It's very cool that they used this episode to tap into Molly's deeper subconscious memories of being around her parents and seeing that they were actively involved in the sacrifices and all those things to begin with, and they really weren't any less guilty than the other parents. And if they had survived, chances were, or if they hadn't tried to escape and they weren't killed, they probably would be in the exact same position as all the other parents were. So Molly had a bitter pill to swallow there, but it was a necessary one for her to kind of just, again, it's not that she should stop loving and being or having warm memories about her parents, but it's never good to put someone up on a pedestal, right? It's hard for her, but I think it's going to also help her to kind of take off those innocent goggles she likes to wear for everything, which again, I'm not saying is a bad thing. Molly's optimism is one of the nicest things on this team, and it does definitely help to temper their very hormonal and slightly homicidal tendencies at times. But yeah, she does still need to grow up a little bit and realize she can't always just assume that everyone is perfect and great. There has to be a little seasoning of salt there, a little grain of salt to be taken when it comes to recognizing that people are capable of doing good and bad. And then outside of that, I'd say the other big thing that we really learned was that it looks like Tina's a whole ass witch. They really didn't refer to it deeply in the show. Of course, she talked about the staff of one being hers. We saw her use it. But season 1 really, they kind of made it seem much more like everything the staff does was all technically based, right? She talked about using all these different elements and that it was all like technology that made the staff do what it did. This episode proved that Nico comes from a line of women that apparently are witches or have some sort of mystical, magical, dark energy wielding type of thing going on. And considering the way her grandmother was, I could kind of see why poor Tina turned out the way she did. Like, these women are not exactly warm and affectionate. Interesting that they were there and that Nico saw them. I'm trying to still figure out why Nico saw them, because everyone's supposed to see like some version of a nightmare when they were in there. I think for her, it was just a revelation of truth, maybe. Like, maybe she didn't want to recognize for herself that this is something that was inevitable for her. Like, I think she keeps trying to think that when she took the staff, this all started, but clearly it was in her blood. It was lineage based. Yeah, it looks like her family's pretty strong, and clearly Morgan Le Fay knew that, and that's why she wants Nico. And we've also found out that her mom, Tina, knows who Morgan is. So I'm almost wondering if maybe Morgan has trapped Nico's ancestors in the past because they've tried to stop her. I mean, I thought everyone's face when Nico's mom was just doing that spell to open the portal, and Nico was like, wait, you telling me that there was more to this thing you didn't tell me? But in fairness, before we yell at Tina, in season 1, she did tell Nico, there's so much I can teach you about this staff. But of course, it did come with the price tag of forgetting about the fact that she was a mass murderer, so it really wasn't a fair trade. Point is, Tina did tell her that there was a whole lot she didn't understand. And what kind of makes me sad is that I don't think we're gonna get a real training. Nico's gonna have to figure a lot of this out for herself, I think, because as I said, I would be really surprised if all the parents make it out of this season. My next prediction would be that I think Tina's gonna end up sacrificing herself to keep Nico from Morgan's grasp. And I guess I should quickly touch on the Carolina, her hellish nightmare. The guilt around the kids who died, I feel like that was pretty standard, but her reaction to Nico was very interesting. I think that despite the fact that they've been painting Carolina and Nico to be this perfect couple that will never have a problem, Nico does have a lot of secrets and darkness and just general distancing of herself that she does that I think Carolina's starting to become a little bit more wise to. And she's really starting to think about whether or not she really wants to commit to a life of dealing with somebody who's constantly in this cycle of negativity. And I think that's very real. And then finally, the other thing is, of course, them jumping. Oh, sorry, Gert finding out that her anxiety is actually a side effect of the drug. Because remember, the parents all said that the drug wasn't perfect. The first round of it was actually flawed, right? So with Frank, remember, that's why Frank was having all kinds of issues, and eventually his memory came back, and so Gert would have gotten an earlier incarnation as well. So it's so sad, but her anxiety and all the issues she has is probably her mind trying to remember what was wiped all those years ago. So that was a really cool little puzzle piece that they threw in there, which I really like. The last tidbit we got was that the group has been gone for 6 months. It looked like they were only there for a day in this dream dimension, wherever they were, but in the real world, we discover they've actually all been missing for 6 months and that Alex is still trapped in there. If that spirit that we saw of, God, I wish I could remember the name of that asinine agent who seems to be keeping Alex hostage, I'm wondering if it, I mean, I do believe he really is there. I do think Nico accidentally sent him there before, but I don't know if he's actually working with Morgan, if he's a pawn of Morgan like the magician was supposed to be, or if he's literally living in his own hellish nightmare where he's just going to live out torturing Alex over and over again, which would be really awful. So overall, again, good episode. Loving the season so far. Cannot wait to keep going through it. I'm trying to get these out as fast as I can. As I said, I can record them fairly quickly, but the editing process takes a little bit longer. So thanks so much for bearing along with me and keeping up with me as I go through this wonderful journey. So if you like this video, guys, please click a like. And if you want to see more from this geeky face, please click subscribe. Until next time, see ya.